When I'm facilitating workshops on the ethics and the morality of artificial intelligence, I often lead a little exercise which takes the form of a challenge question to the participants, and there's a lot of discussion that ensues. And the title of it is, "Should it be illegal to punch a teddy bear in the face?" Which is a bit provocative, of course. And recently, when I've been leading that exercise, even more provocative is as people walk in to the room, I'm holding my teddy bear. I should mention that he doesn't want to appear on camera at the moment, so I've respected that. So we'll have to talk about him. I'm holding my teddy bear, and as people come in, I welcome them and just ask them very directly, please would you punch my teddy bear in the face? And in the most recent version of that, which I ran with people roughly in their early 20s, out of 20 people, 19 refused, and the reactions were quite different. Some just walked past me, some smiled, some stopped and looked at him, some shook their heads, but 19 people refused. And actually it was the person who was slightly late who came in, and when I asked, just immediately and quite forcefully punched my teddy bear in the face and went and sat down as if nothing had happened. We then had a discussion about it, and I should point out that I know this group and they're used to doing kind of provocative challenge exercises like this because they know we're exploring some important questions. And I asked the person who punched the teddy bear in the face why he did, and he sort of shrugged and said, "I thought that's what you wanted." Anyway, I think that is slightly by the by. I then asked people why they'd refused, and they kind of said, it's not the sort of thing I want to do. I don't do violent acts like that. A couple said it's your property. Some just thought it was a joke. But I would say 19 out of the 20 didn't want to punch that teddy bear in the face, and when invited to, didn't. The thing that follows then is I asked the question, should it be illegal to punch a teddy bear in the face? And pretty much whenever I do this exercise, nobody says it should be illegal. When we have the discussion, they point out it's just an object, it's not something they would personally want to do. And it looked quite cute and they wouldn't do it for that reason, but the majority just point out it shouldn't be illegal to punch something, not unless you cause damage, and the illegality then would be the laws that currently exist. It belongs to somebody else, you shouldn't damage their property. But the spirit of the question, of course, is whether there is some sort of similarity to people and it's illegal to punch human beings in the face. And nobody at that stage of the conversation thinks that because a teddy bear's is cute, got arms, legs, smiles and so on, as my teddy bear does, that it shouldn't be illegal. It shouldn't happen, but it shouldn't be illegal. And that's current laws, which are just simply about property. They sort of, they're the ones that apply. So I invite them to say, notwithstanding there are current laws around that, we're obviously looking at a different kind of question around artificial intelligence, because I then give them the scenario where the teddy's been upgraded, has a voice box inserted inside his belly with a little speaker, a few little sensors around his body, particularly around his face, and basically if you punch the teddy bear in the face, randomly one of 20 recorded messages come through his, roughly I think the speaker is around his mouth, saying, "Please don't do that, ouch, that hurt, that was horrible, don't abuse me," and it could be any of those pre-recorded fixed statements. And I then asked if that changes things, and normally nobody says it changes anything. One or two people start to say it should be discouraged. Definitely it's kind of the same as the first thing, in terms of it's still just an object, and they're just recordings, so it doesn't have any awareness, it's not real, and so no. But I think one or two people just sort of falter very slightly in their reactions. They're just wondering now if it's getting closer to a similarity to what a human being might do. But I'd say pretty much nobody says it should be illegal. And I should also point out there are two different arguments here. One is a libertarianism type one, which is we shouldn't have more and more laws. There's an interesting one regarding almost anything. But others, it is the specific laws to the rights of beings in different ways. We sort of get close to the idea that you can't punch a cat in the face legally in most countries. You can't be cruel to an animal. So are we getting closer to a bear that's not self-aware, it's just recordings, but we don't normally get to the conversation about legislating a criminal or a civil act. I'm not sure how the teddy bear itself might sue you. That might be coming in the future. We upgrade the teddy bear again. This time it's got the equivalent of a sort of ChatGPT type life. It's got generative AI inside of it, so we can't predict what it's going to say, what its reactions are going to be. And I'm going to upgrade it even slightly more, because in my scenario it can remember previous conversations. So as we punch it this time, we don't know what it's going to say, and it starts to use the language of feeling abused, of saying it has nightmares at night. If it could run away and had legs, it would do. Please don't hurt it. You're giving it a hellish life. And actually, if we upgraded it with a little bit of emotion, it starts to sound distressed. And it's kind of got a spontaneous way of answering, therefore. Should it be illegal then? And then we get some waverers in the room, and a few say, now, because we can't be sure whether those reactions are part of sentience, that a teddy bear might be developing self-awareness, that we should err on the side of caution and start to apply the same laws of you can't hit an animal, you shouldn't be allowed to hit this teddy bear, particularly if it's reacting in unpredictable ways. We have lots and lots of conversations then around, is AI demonstrating signs of awareness, sentience? Does that change the moral landscape here around the teddy bear starts to develop rights, and we need to start treating it at least at an animalistic type level, or even, with rudimentary human type communication, asking us directly not to do it and saying how distressed it is. Finally, we go to one, and I sort of leap with this, where we talk about part of the bear now has been upgraded to be biologically based, interfacing with some cybernetic technology as well. It's kind of got a mix of mechanical legs. There are sort of fluids that run through its body and its brain. It can take in liquids. It can pee, at least. Maybe we could even upgrade it where it could take in food. It's definitely got the ability to cry. It's definitely got emotion in its voice, and its rudimentary movement means that when we walk towards it to punch it again, it starts to, unsuccessfully, because it can't run very fast, run away from us. It tells us it's having a hellish life. It's saying it feels abused. It would absolutely ask you not to hurt it. You're ruining its life. It's having nightmares. Please, it begs you, don't hit it. I'm sorry if people are uncomfortable here, or you feel I'm disrespecting reality in people's lives, which I'm not trying to do. I'm trying to have a moral conversation in a room, because that splits the room, and it normally splits the room somewhere down the middle. And we absolutely have debate and arguments of people saying there's a line, there's a red line we've crossed where this thing now should have rights, where it's demonstrating to us enough emotional response and intelligence, and it seems to be having an inner life, and we can't know, so we have to err on the side of caution and not punch it in the face, or indeed anywhere else. And it's at that point that we should have laws, and a policeman, if they saw you, citizens arrests and so on, that we should be able to restrain somebody from abusing the little teddy bear in that way. Clearly, as it tries to run away, it's trying to avoid this abuse. And then we need to have rules where it's illegal to punch a teddy bear in the face. And of course, then we get the usual libertarian questions, but we should have less laws. Others saying it's still whatever you think, it's an illusion, it's not alive, it's just an object. And we don't give any final answers, we just have the moral debate. So I just wonder with you, as I sit here in the morning and the sun's coming up, do you think it should be illegal to punch a teddy bear in the face?